Bass! And welcome to the Tony Scott Internet Show. What's going on, man? Cold, man. Here in the St. Louis area, man, you got snow. It's colder today than it was yesterday, and yesterday was cold, or so I'm told. I didn't even go outside yesterday. I don't think I've been outside since like Friday. But you know what? People think I'm crazy because I will go days and not leave my house. And people think I'm crazy, but there's a lot to do in the house, you know? No big deal, but, you know, I'm leaving today. Got somewhere to be. Got an apartment. Rams. Wow. Denver Broncos. Wow. That was incredible. What was it, 22-7, something like that? Some ridiculous score that shocked everybody, including maybe even some Rams players, that they handled Peyton Manning like that. That was awesome, Rams. The Rams are now 4-6 on the season, but there was one player for the Broncos who got hit very hard, and I'm trying to find it here on the, oh, there it is right here, okay. Emmanuel Sanders got lit the hell up. They tuned him up really good, and he got hit so hard that somebody went on his Wikipedia page, and they put down there that he died yesterday in St. Louis, which is, don't do that, man. Because he could have like family members thinking something happened in St. Louis, like something like. But no, he got hit so hard. Somebody put on his personal information on his Wikipedia page. Date of death: November 16, 2014. Place of death: St. Louis, Missouri. He is not dead, but he did get hurt, and he did get hit very hard. But the Rams did win. Wow, over Denver. So they've beaten Denver, Seattle, and the 49ers. And they'll be in San Diego this coming weekend, so there you go. What else is going on? Video came out over the weekend with Darren Wilson that was taken, I think it was taken like last year. He's a police officer. He's a police officer who murdered Michael Brown. And new footage has come out showing Darren Wilson threatening and arresting a resident who refused to stop filming him with a cell phone. He is seen standing near his Ferguson police SUV and warning Mike Armin, if you want to take a picture of me one more time, I'm going to lock your ass up. Armin, who had asked for Darren Wilson's name, replied, well, you know what, let me just listen to this. I got the audio for you. Hear the exchange. It's only like 15 seconds.
What's your name, sir?
You want to take a picture of me one more time, I'm going to lock your ass up.
Sir, I'm not taking a picture. I'm recording this incident, sir. Do I not have the right to record?
Come on.
Sir, you just allowed me. You just asked.
And it ends right there. So Officer Wilson allegedly tells this man, you know, I'm gonna lock your ass up. You keep taking, pictures of me, but he was shooting video of him. This is allegedly Officer Darren Wilson, apparently not knowing that it's not illegal, to my knowledge, in St. Louis County to record a police officer. There may be some jurisdictions around the country, or that have passed a law saying you can't. I know they were thinking about doing that in a couple of cities in America where we're not going to allow people to do that. I don't know if it actually passed or not, though. But he was charged. The young man was charged with failing to comply with Darren Wilson's orders. The charge was dropped after he told his lawyer he had video footage of the incident. He has been charged, the young man has been charged in the past with like resisting arrest and something like that. But he says, I was working on my porch with my tool belt, being cordial, but I wanted to safeguard myself by recording what happened. It's protected apparently by the First Amendment. So there you go. But we now know a little bit of what Darren Wilson actually sounds like.
What's your name, sir?
You want to take a picture of me one more time, I'm going to lock your ass up.
Sir, I'm not taking a picture. I'm recording this incident, sir. Do I not have the right to record?
Come on.
Sir, you just allowed me. You just asked.
There you go. There's the voice of Darren Wilson. Now, Ferguson Police Chief Tom Jackson had to clarify himself over the weekend because he had said last week that if the grand jury does not indict Darren Wilson, that Officer Wilson would return to duty immediately. And if he was indicted, then he would most likely be fired. Tom Jackson clarified his statements, saying Missouri law would allow Darren Wilson to return to the force if he is cleared of any charges. The police department also conducts an internal review of Darren Wilson's shooting of Michael Brown to see if he violated any Ferguson police policies. However, it's not uncommon that when an officer who was up for indictment for something like what Darren Wilson did is not indicted, more times than not, I said this all along, there's no way that Darren Wilson will ever be a police officer, not only in the St. Louis area, but I think in the country. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you know what? The internet has made the world so small that if he got a police job in Paducah, Kentucky, we're going to find out. We're going to find out. And what police department wants that kind of baggage? Who wants the baggage, that stink that's going to follow Darren Wilson around like that stink that follows George Zimmerman around? Who wants that? Nobody wants that. When you can hire an experienced officer who has no baggage over an officer who has all this baggage. Why would you do that? Darren Wilson is never going to be able to live in this area. I just don't believe that he will. I don't think it's safe for him to live in this area. Now, some people have said that Darren Wilson's actually walking around. He's changed his look, whatever that means. Maybe he grew his hair out. Maybe he grew a beard. Maybe he dyed his hair and his beard. I don't know, but supposedly he changed his whole look. And some say he's been at Blues games. I don't know how anybody would know that, but that's what's been going around. But he ain't going to be able to hide forever. Let's be honest. But I can't, even Michael Brown's family says we can't even imagine Darren Wilson ever being a Ferguson police officer again. I just don't see that happening. I just don't. It doesn't make any sense to me. Now, it came out last week, and I didn't really want to mention it because I didn't want to give it any shine. But then it became something over the weekend because, you know, I know you probably heard that the Klan says that they were going to come to Ferguson and take on these protesters if they have to. Lethal force is what they're saying. Now, remember the group Anonymous? Anonymous is this group who they're anonymous and they're like hackers, internet hackers, and you know they shut down the Ferguson website, the police department's web. They shut down the city's website for a while. I mean, it was just a mess, and they've been known to do that. And apparently, they decided to take the hoods off the KKK. After the KKK's alleged threats on Ferguson protesters, and Anonymous came out swinging, y'all. I saw a post on the internet of people who are allegedly in the Klan had their pictures posted, where they live, their profiles to some social media groups they belong to, pictures of them at Halloween parties, police officers' pictures, a man in the St. Louis area whose name was in picture was posted online, a woman, a close-up, like a selfie in her car, right? A man sitting in some chair with some scantily clad women saying that he's from the Midwest, or actually from the South. They got a picture of a van that allegedly transports Klan members in the St. Louis area. I mean, all this stuff was put out by Anonymous over the weekend, and I saw that. I was like, oh my God. They even put somebody up there with a picture of a little kid. Now, I don't know if the kid is a Klan. I don't know. But I didn't like the fact that they put some picture of a kid up there. They should have blurred his face out. But, you know, who am I? I'm a nobody. But they are going in hard by posting these pictures. I mean, they've got it pretty serious stuff. Seriously. And I was kind of frightened for that because I thought, wow, this can't be good. This can't be helpful. But that's what Anonymous does, man. You get in their crosshairs and they will make life very, very uncomfortable for you. Now, here in the St. Louis area, it is tense. You know, people, you know, I got an email from the school district my high school daughter goes to, from the school district saying that, you know, we're aware that the decision should be coming down pretty soon. And, you know, these are the actions, boom, 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 and stuff like that. And, you know, so everybody's getting prepared for this decision. That can be a good thing. That can be a bad thing. I hope that the decision is to indict Darren Wilson. Like I said before, this only bounds him over for trial. This doesn't mean that he's going to jail by any stretch. But it moves him along in the process of justice, which at the very least should happen. You know, if I'm on the grand jury, I'm like, I'm voting to indict. You know, and really, actually, if you think about it, I'm voting to indict for selfish reasons, so I get the hell out of here. I can get on with my life. This has been going on too long, and you know, if we don't indict him, there's going to be a problem. So let's indict him. Let's wash our hands of this and move on. Sounds kind of crappy to say that, but I mean, you think none of those grand jury members have thought about that? Yeah, they've thought about that. Come on, man. Did you hear about what happened in New York? Dancers at a strip club are due more than $10 million in back wages. This according to a federal judge who ruled about this on Friday. The dancers are sued to be paid at least a minimum wage. And the judge says, you're right. These claims represent the claims from roughly 1,900 women who worked at Rick's Cabaret in Manhattan between 2005 and 2012. The owner of the club says they plan to appeal and vigorously defend the allegations. Because the dancers, they got no steady wages. You know, they had to pay a fee to the club to perform. And in return, they got paid by customers, right? Private dances, things like that, tips. But after they pay the club fees, and then they're required to tip the DJs and other club workers, some of the dancers wound up with no money at all at the end of the night. You know, and they're saying that it's a myth about the wealthy stripper who has made like just piles of money. The pile of money you see more times than not are $1 bills. There ain't a mountain of 20 sitting over there. You know what I'm saying? It's $1 bills, and then they got to pay. They got to pay, in a lot of cases, like I said, they got to pay to dance. They got to pay the DJ. I mean, their fees. They nickel and dime. They get nickel and dime, and sometimes they just don't have any money left at the end. There's also a class action suit that's going to be coming down also, that's going to be looking for the same thing. That's crazy. $10 million? Almost $11 million in back wages? What's that? 05, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 8 years. $10 million, 8 years is what they're saying. 1,900 women danced at Rick's Cabaret in Manhattan over a 12-year period, over an 8-year period. Man, that's a lot of dancers. Hey, let's swing to the other end of the coast in Los Angeles, where the LA Unified School District is catching heat, man, on how they handled a student sexual assault case involving one of their teachers. It's a civil case, and the school district's attorneys argued that a 14-year-old student was mature enough to consent to sex with her middle school math teacher. The teacher was convicted of lewd acts against a child and sentenced to 3 years in state prison about 4 years ago. The student then filed the civil case for financial compensation from the L.A. School district. She suffered emotional trauma. It was a 6-month relationship with the teacher. And the school district's attorney introduced the girl's sexual history and argued she bore some of the responsibility. And the judge ruled in favor of the district. We're supposed to have these laws to protect these children from monsters like this teacher. It doesn't matter if the 14-year-old girl has had sex. That doesn't matter. The fact that you had sex when you were 14 doesn't automatically make you an adult. It doesn't do that. Some people say, well, man, you don't know how these 14-year-old girls, man, how they be dressing and acting. Yes, I do. I know. I see it. This is why we have laws, to keep them 14 years old. It's her fault. It's her fault that she got manipulated, talked into lying to her mom. Now, I'm not saying the girl's an angel because I don't even know the girl's name. I don't know. But for the sake of this conversation, we have laws to protect 14-year-olds, even 14-year-olds who some would consider hoes. I'm not saying that little girl's a hoe. I'm not saying that at all. She was a middle school child, 14 years old. Kind of old for middle school, but still. She should have been protected at all costs. Doesn't matter if she was the village bicycle. All that doesn't matter. That's just horrible. That's just bad. But you want to talk about bad. A St. Louis woman got 78 years in prison after admitting to beating, whipping, and waterboarding her children in a pattern of abuse that was called by prosecutors systematic torture. The woman faced 34 felonies, including multiple counts of assault and endangering the welfare of a child for the abuse, which was reported to a school librarian in October 2011. One of the kids, who was then 10 years old, went to school complaining of pain in her arm. The girl told the librarian she'd been beaten with a baseball bat because she didn't clean the kitchen quickly enough. She also told the librarian that her sister, who was 8 at the time, was also beaten with a bat because she took too long in the shower. The librarian examined the girl's arm, found it cold and hard to the touch. She was treated at the hospital that her arm had been subjected to such trauma that the blood supply to the limb was restricted. Interviews with the young girls revealed prolonged abuse in which they had been waterboarded, whipped with electrical cords, forced into scalding or freezing showers, and beaten with blunt objects. All 3 of the children were scarred. Physically scarred, not emotionally, physically had scars on their body. She was supposed to be their mother. Protect them at all cost. Her husband pleaded guilty last year to 42 felony counts on related charges, plus submitted an Alford plea on additional counts. He got 160 years in prison. Waterboarded her own children. Do you know what waterboarding is? Look it up. Look it up. I don't want to tell you because I don't want to influence on just how bad you're going to think that this is waterboarding. It's horrible to do that to a child. So she gets 78 years and her husband got 160 years. Wow, they're monsters. Over the weekend, Lifetime aired that Aaliyah movie that Wendy Williams produced, and apparently I didn't watch it. I just had no interest in it at all. You know, I know enough about Aaliyah, and I knew that her family wasn't behind this, so they couldn't use any of Aaliyah's music in the movie. Which if you're going to do a movie about a popular singer, and you're not allowed to use her voice, their music, whatever, then it's really it's pointless to even do the movie. But they did it anyway, and by everybody's account, I haven't come across one post at all who said the movie was even aight. Everybody says it sucked. It sucked. Somebody even said Wendy Williams need to take the week off to let the internet cool down a little bit because they were heating her butt up, man. She produced it. She kept talking about it on her show, and it aired. And it was horrible is what everybody's saying. I'm not saying that because, like I said, I didn't see the movie. So I'm just going to tell you what stuff that I heard that people said it was bad. Timbaland went on social media and called it a bull bleep Aaliyah biopic. He said it was just that bad. It was awful. And that the memes, though, that were coming out over the weekend about proposed Lifetime movies were hilarious. But everybody says the movie was bad. And Zendaya Coleman, who was supposed to play Aaliyah originally, but was replaced by Alexandra Shipp. Some say she was fired. Some say that she left on her own. She had said all along, I'm not going to even watch the movie. I'm going to be on a plane. But apparently that is the movie is officially booty. And when it comes on again, because, TV, they like to rerun stuff. I don't care. I'm not going to be watching anything like that. That just ain't going to happen. Bill Cosby's been in the news lately because of allegations from years ago of him raping women. None of these allegations have been proven to be true. There was one woman who allegedly was paid off. But apparently, for whatever reason, these allegations resurfaced last month. Now, understand, Bill Cosby has never faced criminal charges over any of these allegations. And he's never spoke on them. Even when E! News asked him about it. You know? I think it came up because of that comedian Hannibal Buress. He brought him up, brought the allegations up in his stand-up. And then people started, you know, all that started coming out again. And he was on NPR's Weekend Edition promoting a collection of African art pieces that he and his wife Camille have lent to the Smithsonian National Museum of African Art. When Scott Simon says, quote, "This question gives me no pleasure, Mr. Cosby, but there have been serious allegations raised about you in recent days." And Bill Cosby was just shaking his head no. So Simon says, "I'm in the news business. I have to ask the question, do you have any response to those charges?" And he would just shake his head no. He wasn't even going to voice a no. He's just going to shake his head no. There are people who love you who might like to hear from you about this. I want to give you a chance. And Bill Cosby was like, no. He didn't even say no. He just kept shaking his head. Now, he pulled out of a Letterman. You know, Bill Cosby on Letterman, his appearances have been legendary. And he's supposed to be on there Wednesday, I think. But it's been canceled because, because of that. His recent appearance with Queen Latifah also was canceled at his request. You know, the news had come out that she canceled the interview. She didn't cancel it. He declined to come on when these allegations started coming out. And they've been nothing but allegations. And anybody who calls Bill Cosby a rapist, after all these years, if nothing has ever been proven, then why is this being brought up? He did pay off a woman, but I don't know what he paid her off for. Maybe he just wanted her to go away. Believe it or not, Michael Jackson did that. A lot of people get paid off to go away because you become a pain in the ass. And they just want you to go away. Happens all the time. I don't know if you heard about this story. I don't even know if this is true or not, but I read this on a couple of spots over the weekend about a 22-year-old woman who was believed to have gotten HIV after sharing manicure equipment with her cousin who is HIV positive. Doctors say this is unusual, but it's not impossible. And it should not make people scared to come in contact with those affected with HIV. Chance of infection are still very low. HIV virus can only be contracted through blood and bodily fluids, blood, semen, vaginal fluids, rectal fluids, things like that. Mucous membranes can harbor the infection, you know. So I'm guessing if you use someone's, I don't even know what the stuff is that they do I've never had a manicure in my life. I guess if somebody uses an instrument on you and it nicks you and you bleed and there's blood on there and then you use it on someone else, is that possible? I've never heard of anybody getting HIV through sharing manicure equipment. Never heard that at all. I don't know. That's pretty interesting. I've never heard that. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Atlanta twerk team, but there was a young lady who went by the name of Betty Butt who was on the twerk team, an Atlanta dance group, apparently was shot in an apartment complex outside of Atlanta and killed. 3 male suspects arrested in connection with her death. She was shot in the head. A second victim, a man, was shot in the side, treated for his injuries at the Galleria apartment complex. He's expected to survive. But this young lady, gone. Just gone. And finally, Jason Brown. If you're in the St. Louis area, you might remember Jason Brown as one of the best centers in the NFL. He played with the Rams. In fact, he had a 5-year, $37 million contract with the Rams. And he decided, I don't want to do this anymore. His agent says, you're making a huge mistake, the biggest mistake of your life. And Jason looked at his agent and says, no, I'm not. So he gave up his life in the NFL to become a farmer. A farmer. And they said, well, what do you know about farming? He said, I don't know nothing about farming. He learned about farming watching YouTube videos. He wanted to be a farmer. Of course, he'll get heated up because who passes up $37 million to be a farmer? Well, you know what? You're not Jason Brown. You're not Jason Brown. I mean, people, when you find something that you can do for a living, as they say, you'll never work a day in your life. When you find a career that you love and can't wait to go to, you'll never work a day in your life. The man wants to farm. I say go, man. That's great. I think that's fantastic. All right, we'll leave it here. We're going to wind it up right here. Appreciate you listening. I really do. Sharing, things like that. We're getting ready for Tony Scott Live. I'm going to do a show from Kathy's Kitchen, a great little restaurant in Ferguson on Friday, December 5th from 6 to 8 p.m. Would love for you to come down. It's free to get in. If you want to eat or drink, well, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? That's your thing. That's your thing. Also, Men on Scandal, the latest episode, The Last Supper, is up. Myself, Mark Clark, and Troy Johnson, we review every episode of Scandal from a male point of view, and you can watch it. Go to talking360.com. The website's back up again. I worked on it over the weekend, did some redesigning, added a search component, and some other things you can check out. But it's all there for you at talking360.com. You can sign up for my newsletter there too, all right? Thank you so much. All right, have a great Monday. And if you're in the St. Louis area, stay warm.